Streaming used to be very exciting. You had a whole library of your favorite movies and TV shows right at your fingertips, often at prices less than $15 per month. How could there be a downside to this? For some people, there's not, but others are watching the collapse of an art form right in front of their eyes. My name is Dakota Sage, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about why I think that streaming is ruining TV and film. A thing I've been noticing lately is that it seems like shows are being made solely to go viral on social media. It seems like these shows focus so much on stuff that doesn't matter because they want people to make a meme of it or talk about it on Twitter. A perfect example of this is Netflix's Wednesday. The show had all the tools to be really good. It had the budget, it had the audience, the director, an all-around great cast, including the characters that were just being introduced, but the show turned out pretty mid. There's really no other way to say it. The showrunners knew that just the name Wednesday Addams was going to bring in a lot of viewers, so they didn't need to start out with a solid plot, and they never really got one at all during the first season. There's no real villain or problem in the series that's going to be able to withstand multiple seasons. There was the Hyde that could kind of work between seasons, but they're promoting the stalker thing that they only talked about like 3 times. Instead of creating a really well-written show about Wednesday Addams in the modern world, they decided to throw in extra things for really no reason. The whole inclusion of werewolves and vampires and whatever really doesn't even make any sense for the Addams family. The whole point of the Addams family is that they're really weird, but they think that everyone else is really weird. The inclusion of these monsters makes them exactly like a bunch of other people. It's like they only added that in the show so people could take BuzzFeed quizzes about which Wednesday monster type they are. You could take the whole show and set it in a regular high school, and not only would it not really affect the plot, it would probably make the show better. They also had a terribly executed love triangle that not only really had no relevance, but shot Xavier's character development in the foot. All because they wanted people to be tweeting whether they were Team Xavier or Team Tyler. The show was not created with care. It was not created by people who were fans of the Addams family. It was created by Netflix executives who wanted to use the name for quick views. Just like there are shows created to appeal to social media, there are shows created to be background to social media. Emily in Paris is a great example. Emily in Paris is campy and kind of stupid, but not in a fun, lighthearted way. More in a I want to stare at my phone and still know what's going on kind of way. I watched maybe 2 episodes of the first season and shut it off because I just didn't care. Outer Banks is another example, and I actually really liked the first season of Outer Banks. Like Emily in Paris, it was campy, but it did have a fun, interesting overarching storyline that kept viewers engaged. The second and third seasons were not like that. It seemed like things were just happening to happen, and I found myself getting more bored and distracting while watching. Like they're literally stranded on an island for like 3 months, and after they're rescued, it's literally not mentioned again. Like I feel like that would be pretty traumatic. In my opinion, anything that happens in a TV show or movie should do so for one of 3 reasons. 1, to drive the plot. 2, to develop the characters. Or 3, to just entertain the audience. Creating a show to not be paid attention to is literally ridiculous. Kind of backpacking off of this, there's no filler episodes anymore. There's no episodes dedicated to character development and fun, even in sitcoms. Like, I like the show Never Have I Ever, but there is no downtime between things that are happening, and it makes the show feel rushed and insincere. Creating a show for it to go viral or to be background to social media doesn't necessarily make it a bad show, it just stops it from being good. Alright, let's talk about the people actually involved in making the movies. Let's talk about residuals. Residuals are earnings to actors, writers, directors, etc. that comes when their movie makes money outside of the theater. Examples include rentals, DVD sales, airing, or being sold to streaming services. But the thing is, every time the media is aired on cable TV, residuals are paid. If a movie is really successful and the network plays it a lot, the people involved with making it will see that money. When a movie is sold to a streaming service, the creatives behind it are making the same amount whether the movie is viewed 10 times or 10,000 times.
So I think a scenario lots of viewers can relate to is sitting on the couch on a Friday night, going through the streaming services, cycling through the movies and thinking to themselves, they're not making movies for me anymore. As somebody who's been intimately involved in movie making for 30 years, what are the macro Hollywood conditions behind that sentiment?
Well, so what happened was the DVD was a huge part of our business, of our revenue stream, and technology has just made that obsolete. And so the movies that we used to make, you could afford to not make all of your money when it played in the theater, because you knew you had the DVD coming behind the release, and 6 months later you'd get all, a whole nother chunk. It would be like reopening the movie almost. And when that went away, that changed the type of movies that we could make. I did this movie Behind the Candelabra, and I talked to a studio executive who explained it was a $25 million movie. I would have to put that much into print and advertising, right, to market it, what we call P&A. So I'd have to put that in P&A. So now I'm in $50 million. I have to split everything I get with the exhibitor, right, the people who own the movie theaters. So I would have to make $100 million before I got into profit. And the idea of making $100 million on a story about like this love affair between these two people, yeah, I love everyone in the movie, but that's suddenly a massive gamble in a way that it wasn't in the 1990s when they were making all those kind of movies, the kind of movies that I loved and the kind of movies that were my bread and butter.
Rachel Zegler got clowned on pretty hard for what she said during the SAG-AFTRA strike, but whether you like her or not, she's right.
Say, if I'm gonna stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
I have residual checks that would shock you, and I've only made 2 movies, so I can't imagine how like Kimiko Glenn is faring and all of this, making like $27 on years and years and years of Orange is the New Black, which really put Netflix on the map. Look up ways you can help, because below the line is suffering. So are many, many actors, background actors, people who have not worked in many, many years. There's a huge percentage of SAG-AFTRA that isn't even eligible for health insurance. Think of them during this time, because an industry shutdown hurts us all.
Even if it's only a fraction of a cent, she should get paid every time the movie is aired on cable television or watched on Disney+. And listen, I am the first person to tell celebrities to go touch grass. We literally have celebrities out here complaining that they can't take a 6-month break, or else they can't afford the mortgage on their $5 million house because they have to pay the people that work for them. But Rachel and the other people involved in the strike are right. The people behind the movie should see the full extent of the benefits of the success they made on that project. They made the project. Speaking of Disney+, they're kind of in a class all on their own. Unlike other streaming services, Disney releases movies to theaters and owns multiple cable TV channels. If they put a movie into theaters or on television, they have to pay residuals. If they just put it on Disney+, they don't have to pay anybody. All the earnings from that movie or TV show stays in their pocket. Scarlett Johansson famously sued Disney, arguing that she missed out on millions of dollars because the Black Widow movie was released into theaters and on Disney+ at the same time. Naturally, she won because it was pretty easy to prove, and Disney never did that again. I mean, is Disney purposefully not advertising their movies until they're on Disney+ so they can put more money in their own pockets? Is it possible that they're letting their movies bomb at the box office so they can write them off in their taxes, then reap the full benefits of streaming later? I don't know. So who's winning with streaming? It's not the actors, it's not the writers, it's not the directors, and it's not the consumers if you really think about it. The only people really winning are the streaming service executives that don't care much about film but care a lot about profit. I can't say I'm not part of the streaming takeover. I have Netflix, I enjoy the convenience of it, but I also really do enjoy still having cable TV. I like that I can turn on Friends or Modern Family or Catfish for the entire day. And realistically, if you're paying for 3 or 4 streaming services, you're almost at the price of cable anyway. Not gonna lie, I don't know how to fix this problem. Buy cable, buy DVDs, go to the theater more. I don't know. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, have a great rest of your day.